Hey everybody, Jinza here, and welcome to another episode of Small Bytes. Well, Small Bytes Plus, because we are doing the PC games. So this week we are going to be covering Paladins, or Paladins Beta to be precise. It's a game being done by Hi-Rez Studios, the guys that brought you Smite, and Tribes Ascended Sad Face, which is a game I really loved, but the player base kind of died off on that game, which was really sad. It is still going, but it's really just hardcore players on that at the moment. Anyway, before we get started, if you have seen anything about this game, you're probably aware that it's a bit of an elephant in the room. It's very similar to Overwatch, and I will show you some reasons why in a minute. Let's have a quick look at the options menu. So you have your bog standard anti-aliasing, vertical sync, you have all your different sliders for your shader qualities, and you have a very nice FOV which actually goes really high, which is pretty awesome. A lot of games miss out on that, and sometimes these games can actually make you a bit sick because the FOV is just all over the place. You also have a fairly in-depth volume controls, which is quite awesome. You can adjust all different things to your liking. There's some different toggles on and off for the gameplay. I have no idea why they put minimap in there, because why would you play without the minimap? It's kind of essential. I would recommend turning this off. This is on by default, and I'd recommend turning it off, and I will show you why once we actually get into the game. So that's the auto purchase of burn cards. You have a few different control ones for mouse smoothing and enabling the gamepad. You have all your rebindable keys, which is quite nice. You would expect that in this day and age of PC gaming. And you also have controller support if that's your jam. I don't know how well the controller works, because honestly, I would never play this sort of game with a controller, but, you know, it is a viable option. Alright, so before we actually get into game, let's have a little bit of a look at the characters. And you may notice some similarities on characters from various different, well, Blizzard games, I guess you could say. Yeah. But we'll have a look at what the actual characters are like. So the way this game works is there's a lot of different characters. I think about 70% of them at the moment you can play straight up. Others you have to purchase with either the in-game currency that you get for winning, well, I say winning games, participating in games. And you get some for logging in daily and your daily quests, or obviously cash shop, because this game is going to be a fairly good viable alternative if you don't want to pay for games like Overwatch, because it is free to play. I'm pretty sure they're going for the same sort of business model as Smite as. You know, you can, if you want to purchase the characters, you can, or you can save your hard-earned monies and get them later on. So that's quite nice. So each character has what they call a loadout. And the loadouts consist of cards that you obtain from chests when you level up, or you can just straight up buy them with gold. You have 12 points per card. Well, for a whole set of cards, and each card obviously consists of more points. So the higher grade card that you have, the more points it costs. So you're pretty much only going to be able to put either 1 or 2 legendaries in your deck. It's quite nice. All the cards increase certain aspects of a character's abilities, whether it be their bog standard attack or their ultimates and stuff like that. All the cards sets are pretty much similar, going down in different grades. It just decreases. So if you have a look at this, the Fatalities 4, hitting an enemy with an axe throw increases your movement speed by 40% for 2 seconds. Or if you have a look at the epic one, it goes down 10%, so on and so forth. So currently there's not an awful lot of options when it comes to this, because obviously people are going to have very similar card setups, but it does allow you to maybe make abilities or attacks that you favor slightly more than others more viable to use constantly. It might, you can reduce their cooldown. All the characters also have the bog standard, you know, new skins and stuff like that, but currently they are pretty much just recolors. I think the actual cash shop ones are where you have to actually pay real money for. They are slightly modified, but for the most part they are just recolors. You can, if you're lucky enough, get them in the chests. I've had one skin from the chest, which was a weapon skin for a character that I play. But for the most part, you're just going to be getting cards in the chests. And as you can see, they've got different weapon skins. Some of the actual weapon skins are quite nice. They're a bit better than the character model, the character skins. The characters themselves act, well, I would say a good half of them act like as if two Overwatch characters had a very bizarre baby that inherited their abilities. So if we have a look at, say, Cassie, who looks very similar to some WoW characters, her skills are very, very similar to Hanzo's. And I think there's a couple that have, yeah, this Drogo's. I remember playing him. He acts very much like, what was her name? Vala from Overwatch. He's a bit of a noob cannon and he's got a jetpack. But he's got a thrust ability which is very similar. His ultimate is thrust, which is very similar to Reinhardt. I'm not going to debate which come first, the chicken or the egg. But the whole point is this game actually any good? Does it do this well? And for the most part, the answers are yes. It's actually quite enjoyable. So, regarding game modes, you have your main game modes are Siege and Payload. You also have Practice versus AI, which I definitely recommend doing before you jump into Siege or Payload, and I will go into that a bit why in a second. You also have this Survival mode, which you can't actually currently get into, but I'm pretty sure it's just going to be a Horde mode. The Payload mode is pretty much a bog standard, very similar like Team Fortress, where you just push a payload to the end. If you push it to the end, you win. If obviously the defenders stop you from pushing it to the end, they win. So a very simple game mode. But we're going to have a look at the Siege mode, which is currently my favourite mode, and I think it's the more superior mode. The games tend to take longer, so you may not see a whole entire game. My current worst gripe with this game is the matchmaking. Sometimes you get into games quick, sometimes it takes forever, and by forever I mean you can be waiting up to 5 to 10 minutes, which is kind of annoying. That may be a problem just with a limited player base being closed beta, so you know, we have to see if that changes in the future. But there are a couple of mechanics for this matchmaking in place, and I see why they have done it. It's to stop AFK players joining games and whatnot, but just the way it's set up, it can be very annoying. I probably won't show you just in case this game does take ages, and I will cut straight into the game. But the first mechanic is it will pop up a join button, and sometimes people don't join, and if you've been waiting for, like, you know, a long time and then it suddenly just stops and starts the matchmaking again, that can be a bit annoying. And the second one I will look at when we actually get into a match. So this, oh, there we go. Oh, here we go. I'll show you. Right, so this is the join function. So if, hopefully, come on, last person. There's always one that is fast asleep at his keyboard. Yeah, see, he's not even going to join the match. So he's probably getting a hot dog or something from his mum, or I don't know, out somewhere doing something else. Okay, we got in. Right, the second mode bit is you actually have to lock in your character, and what will happen is you've got 30 seconds to quickly choose your character and lock it in. If either team don't lock in their characters, and this can just be one person, so maybe this one person didn't get the character he wanted to play, so doesn't bother locking in one. Luckily everybody has, so we're not actually going to experience that. But if someone wants to be a dick, and so, because you can't have multiple characters of the same type like you can in stuff like Overwatch, it's more like a MOBA where you can only have one of that character per team. And if someone didn't lock it in, what will happen, it will just kick everybody and start searching for a game again, and that's really annoying. I'd rather see something like if someone didn't lock in their character, well, Tough Tomatoes, you have to play as a random character. Alright, so when we're going to get actually into the game and start off, for some reason on Ying, I do have Mastery 8 of her, but it doesn't pop up and show like it does on this Bomb King. I have no idea why. Right, burn cards. So, you can... Basically, you get points for doing kills, capturing objectives, pushing payload, defending, assisting, and all that jazz. They each have all different abilities, not abilities, passives. So as you can see, reduce damage taken from direct attacks, area of effect. I like to go for morale boost because her ultimate's really good. This gives you 40% chance at ultimate gain. And you also have some fit support. So it's all defense, as you can see, defense, utility, healing, and attack. So you can... I like to pick up this one if there's a lot of characters that use shields, because this can really destroy them. As you can see, the character models and the game design's actually really nice. It looks really crisp and clear. It's very fantasy orientated. As you can see, you do have mounts to get around the battlefield fairly quick. I can't remember what game first put that into this sort of the game type. I think Heroes of the Storm was one of them, but I'm sure there was some before it. So this is my current favourite character, which is Ying. She acts a bit like a Mesmer from Guild Wars. And the whole idea is to summon these little things, and they can run off and attack people. So with Siege mode, the whole objective, as you can probably see at the top of the screen, there's 9 points that each character needs. And you basically need to get the 9 points in order to win. You get points for capturing these objectives, and then once this objective has been captured, there'll be a payload. We kind of need to get onto that. It's a bit hard though when we've got so many. Oh, I'm dead. Someone behind me, that's why. I was going to say they're doing a lot of damage to me. But once if either team captures that objective, then the payload spawns, and then that team can try and push it to the other team's base. So I like this game mode, but the trouble is, it's usually if there's a bit of a more well-balanced team or players that work better together, and you get that objective first before anybody else, it's kind of a bit easier to... Let's do my ultimate. Help everybody out. It's so much going on, it's hard to describe. But yeah, it's a lot easier to push and get the first points, because you get less points for defending than you do for attacking. So if they get this, they get 2 points, and we only get 1 point for defending against them. Luckily we do have it, and it does move your spawn point up once you capture one of these. So as you can probably see, further than our bases now, so we'll be spawning here currently. You do have health, and your health does regen if you're out of battle. When you kill stuff, it does drop the little health packs. There is a couple of people, like, yeah, there we go, he has healing abilities. There's only a couple of characters that do that, and there's no actual dedicated healer. It's more of a on the side thing. As you can see, it does work similar to MOBAs. If you're hiding in the grass, you're actually invisible, apart from if... I think there's one of the sniper characters has the ability to see people. I think her ultimate does. It can make everybody seen. But obviously random hits can still hit you, because it's not... you know, it works exactly as an FPS does. Fortunately, that sniper was sniping me, but yeah, we got the first one. So you can see we got 4 points straight up from that. So now they are limited. But now I also have more points, so I can buy more burn cards. I'm going to go for a bit of an assist one here. So my killing blows to a player restore 25% of my maximum health, and that means they're also going to drop a little health thing that, you know, I can pick up or my team can pick up. So that'll be quite handy. It'll keep me in the battle, because this character works really well to help push stuff and basically freak out the other team, because they've suddenly got mirror images of me running at them. I tend to not use her F ability. She does have another ability where she can teleport to any ones that have already died or ones that are currently active and swap places with them. But I probably won't show you all this game because these games can take forever, especially if the other teams actually get this one and we don't. It's a fairly competent at what it does. But you do get assists and you still get points for doing assists, so I won't worry too much about doing kills. There are people that do run around just getting kills, but then their team loses because they're not helping the objective. It is basically the whole game is objective based. So the fact they've got their, as you can see at the bottom, eliminations and stuff like that in it is, I don't know, it's not as useful as other stuff like assists and time on payload and stuff like that. There's no player of the games like there is in Overwatch. It's solely, you know, to do with kills and assists and that, like stuff like that. But yeah, see, he's trying to get kills and just completely neglected that the payload is coming round, which is kind of not the way you want to play it. You want to play it by pushing this as much as possible. But yeah, so this was pretty much Paladins. I'd definitely suggest once it comes out of closed beta is getting access into the open beta and actually trying it out. It is a really fun game and you probably will, you know, get quite a lot of enjoyment out of it, especially if you enjoy stuff like Overwatch and Team Fortress. But it does do it really well. It runs really nice. I do get a good stable frame rate out of it. There are a few connection issues to the server, but Hi-Rez are kind of not really known for the most reliable servers. But it does the job. It does the job. And it's a lot of fun. The chests are not exactly... I wouldn't even worry about getting chests or purchasing chests because you get a lot of gold. You can buy all your different cards just from the gold you get from the games. But yeah, so this was Paladins. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it maybe encouraged you to maybe come check it out. And I'll probably be playing this a lot more. It's really entertaining. And I will see you next week for another Small Bytes Plus. So you know what to do. Like and subscribe. I will see you next time.